Wouldn't you agree that sometimes we can feel very hurt and very down due to what somebody has said to us? And sometimes the worst version of us shows up in that moment, especially when we feel offended. Is that true? And that's why today I'm about to share with you, how can you stop taking things so personally so you can be back in the driver's seat of your life and be in control of your emotions no matter what? It comes down to these 3 proven steps. Be sure to pay close attention, especially to the final step, as that's the main practical lesson I want to really share with you right now. Without further ado, let's go on to the first proven step, which is to stop being identified by things that aren't actually you. What do I mean by this? Well, think about this. Imagine you had to introduce yourself to me right now. What would you say? Well, typically you hear an answer like this. Hey, my name is John. I'm 40 years old. I'm based in Amsterdam. I've got a wonderful family. I've got an incredible job right now. I'm a lawyer. I work out every single day. My physical health is vibrant. I'm energetic, right? So you got to really ask yourself, how we often introduce ourselves to others. What does that really say about who we really are? Because when you agree, most of the time we are just saying out loud things that aren't actually us. We're saying out loud things that were either given to us or we achieved through working very hard. True? Understand, the process of identification means to identify. It is derived from a Latin idem, which means the same, and facere, which means to make. Hence why if I identify with something, it means that I make it the same. The same as what? The same as me. And anything you're currently identified by will control you emotionally. Let's say, for example, you identify by the country you're currently living in, and somebody was burning your country flag in front of you. Are you going to feel some form of emotional reaction? You bet. But to somebody who's not from that country, they may not feel anything. True or true? And so the way we process identification in our psychology is kind of like being in a shopping mall and you're pushing a shopping cart. And this shopping cart is me. It represents me, okay, as in you. And anything you are putting in the shopping cart, you're saying to the world, hey world, this represents me. And so some people, they put their physical appearance in the shopping cart. They put their job title. They put their family. They put their body. They put everything, right? They say, represents me. And so think about it. You're pushing the shopping cart in the shopping mall. And anytime you come across somebody else's shopping cart, and they've got more of that thing you're identified by, you can feel like you're not good enough. And especially if you come across somebody who begins to point at the items in your shopping cart, and they begin to say to you, hey, I don't like that. That's not good. You will begin to get very defensive. You'll begin to feel down. Is this making sense so far? So we have to get clear of who we really are. Because imagine if those things in the shopping cart was to all disappear. Are you still there? You bet. So this leads perfectly onto the second step. The second step is to understand who you really are. Understand you are the being, the individual that is pushing this shopping cart called me. You are not the contents in this shopping cart. Is that making sense? This does not mean, by the way, do not derive identity from the things that are in your shopping cart called me right now. What this means is to acknowledge and become aware of how those things are not actually you. Because from this perspective, you've got freedom emotionally. You can pick and choose how you want to feel in different moments, right? But if we begin to identify with everything that's in this shopping cart, we'll feel the need to defend it. We'll feel the need to perhaps get angry if somebody says something bad to us. So let's say, for example, you're an author and somebody says to you, hey, that is a bad book that you have written. Our ego perception in that moment will totally distort reality. It will interpret that message as this person has said, I am not good. When in fact, the individual gave you a feedback that the book is not good. Is this making sense? The moment we begin to separate what is really happening and become aware, we can begin to improve the things in the shopping cart, the contents, and no longer feel the need to perhaps feel emotionally crippled by comments you're hearing from others and so forth. And so anytime we are becoming aware of how we are the being that's pushing the shopping cart, this is what's called a seat of awareness. From this place, the seat of awareness, you become aware of your storyline that represents me. And it's from this place you've got freedom emotionally. You'll feel liberated. You'll be able to grow yourself, which leads on to the final step. Pay close attention, which is to show up at the personal growth gym. In fact, the famous psychologist you may have heard of, Carl Jung, once said, anything that irritates us about others can lead us to a better understanding of ourselves. So anytime somebody says something to you and you feel offended and you feel hurt, look within you. Begin to treat that as a chance for you to grow yourself, evolve yourself. So instead of seeing it as a threat, see it as a challenge for you to grow. Because understand, what somebody says to you is not what's making you feel hurt. It's what you are saying to yourself. Once they have stopped talking, that is what's making you feel hurt right now. What do I mean by this? Well, imagine you don't have green hair. And imagine if I was to say to you, you've got green hair. Will you feel hurt? Most likely not, right? Because you know you don't have green hair. Is that true? Now imagine this. Imagine I was to say to you, you're a horrible human being. Is there a slight chance you may feel some form of emotional reaction? You bet. So really think about that. Why was it when somebody said to you, you've got green hair, there was no reaction? And why was it when somebody said you're a horrible human being, there was some form of reaction? The reason for this is because the doubt within you existed long before I opened my mouth. Anytime somebody says something to you and you feel hurt, you want to look within you. You got to become aware of what are you telling yourself that's making you feel that way. And you got to begin to operate from the seat of awareness and begin to disidentify from the contents in your shopping cart and begin to really, really become aware of how you are just a being pushing the shopping cart. From that perspective, you've got total freedom to grow yourself. And this is what's going to allow you to be able to get a step closer to stop taking things so personally in your life. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have, be sure to click the like button and let me know in the comments box below what was your biggest reminder or lesson you learned from today's video. And as always, follow your heart and take action. And let's create the life we truly want to live. Take care.